Wait, stop scrolling. Because what you're about to hear is one of those stories that hits you right in the childhood. A familiar face, a show a lot of us grew up on, and a reality that absolutely no one expected. One viral clip, one former Nickelodeon star, and a reaction that's got the entire internet divided. This isn't just celebrity news. This is a wake-up call. So let's talk. If you watched Nickelodeon in the 2000s, chances are you remember Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Bright colors, locker chaos, laughs, and a cast that felt like they were going to grow up with us forever. But fast forward to now, and one of those familiar faces is making headlines again for a heartbreaking reason. A video begins circulating on social media. Grainy, raw, real. It shows Tylor Chase, who played Martin on Ned's Declassified, living on the streets in Riverside, California. Not acting, not a role, real life. And within hours, the internet does what it always does. Shock, speculation, judgment, sympathy, and a lot of questions. How did this happen? Where did things go wrong? And why are we only hearing about this now? But then something unexpected happens. Devon Werkheiser, the face of Ned himself, finally breaks his silence. And what he says, it's not what most people were expecting. Instead of distance, he chooses compassion. Instead of excuses, he chooses honesty. Instead of pointing fingers, he points toward something much bigger. Devon comes forward and makes it clear that this situation isn't just about fame disappearing or money running out. He says it's about addiction. It's about mental health. It's about how quickly life can spiral when support systems collapse. And that's where this story takes a turn. Because suddenly, this isn't just about Tylor Chase. It's about how we as a society treat people when the cameras turn off, when the applause fades, when someone stops being useful to the machine. Devon acknowledges that seeing the footage was heartbreaking. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He doesn't pretend it's easy. But he also doesn't treat Tylor like a spectacle. He treats him like a human being who's hurting. And he makes one thing painfully clear: addiction is ruthless. Mental illness doesn't care about your past success. And homelessness is closer than people think. Now here's the part a lot of people online missed. Devon explains that Tylor's struggles didn't come out of nowhere. According to him, this has been an ongoing battle for years. Addiction issues, mental health challenges, attempts to get back on track, setbacks, relapses. The kind of cycle that doesn't make headlines, but destroys lives quietly. And when that video went viral, Devon says it didn't feel like news. It felt like watching someone he knew at their lowest moment broadcast to millions. That's a heavy thing to sit with. And then enters another familiar name, Shaun Weiss. Yes, the Mighty Ducks star who once went through his own very public battle with addiction and homelessness. Shaun sees the viral clip and decides to step in. Not with tweets, not with commentary, with action. He reaches out. He connects with people who can help. He uses his own recovery experience to try to open a door for someone else. And Devon acknowledges this effort publicly. He praises it. He supports it. Because when you've lived that life, when you've slept rough, when you've been written off, you understand something most people don't. Recovery doesn't start with judgment. It starts with support. But let's be honest, not everyone online reacted with compassion. Some comments were brutal. People asking how someone who was on TV could end up homeless. Others accusing him of wasting opportunities. And some even questioning whether help should be offered at all. That's when Devon's message really matters. Because he pushes back against that mindset. Hard. He reminds people that success doesn't come with immunity. Childhood fame doesn't equal lifelong stability. And addiction doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care how famous you were. It doesn't care how many fans you had. It doesn't care about nostalgia. And here's where the conversation gets uncomfortable. Devon talks about how many former child actors struggle once the structure is gone. When the schedule disappears. When the phone stops ringing. When identity becomes a question mark. Add mental health challenges into that mix, and things can go downhill fast. This isn't an excuse. It's context. And context matters. Because without it, stories like this get reduced to clickbait, to memes, to hot takes, and real people get lost in the noise. Now, according to those close to the situation, attempts are being made to help Tylor get back on his feet. Resources, support, conversations. But Devon is also very clear about something else. You can't force recovery. You can offer help. You can open doors. But the person has to walk through them. And that's one of the hardest truths about addiction. It's messy. It's unpredictable. And it doesn't follow a timeline that makes the internet comfortable. Which brings us to something a lot of people aren't talking about. Why does it take a viral video for help to show up? Why do people only mobilize when something becomes shareable? Devon doesn't directly call anyone out, but the implication is there. These stories are happening every day, not just to former actors, to regular people, to people with no platform, no fan base, no headlines. And yet, most of them don't get a Shaun Weiss moment. Most of them don't get public support. Most of them don't get a second chance that's amplified online. That's the uncomfortable mirror this situation holds up. Now, let's talk about Daniel Curtis Lee, another Neds Declassified cast member, who also reportedly reached out trying to connect and help. Quietly, privately, no clout chasing, just concern. And that matters. Because behind the scenes, there are people trying. People who remember the human behind the character. People who aren't trying to turn pain into content. Devon makes it clear that he hopes people approach this situation with empathy, not entertainment. He urges fans to understand that recovery is not linear, that setbacks happen, that compassion shouldn't disappear once the trend moves on. And then he says something that really sticks. He talks about how easy it is to judge from the outside, how easy it is to say, "I would never let that happen to me." But life doesn't always ask for permission before it knocks you down. Illness, trauma, loss, addiction. Sometimes all it takes is one bad year, or one bad decision followed by 1,000 more you never planned to make. And suddenly, you're somewhere you never imagined. This isn't a feel-good story. It's a real one. And that's why it's hitting so hard. Because deep down, everyone watching knows this could be someone they grew up with, someone they went to school with, someone in their family, or even themselves. So where does that leave us? Right now, Tylor Chase's future is uncertain. Help has been offered. Support has been discussed. But as with all recovery journeys, the outcome is unknown. And maybe that's the part that makes people uncomfortable. We love redemption arcs. We love before and after photos. We love neat endings. But real life doesn't work like that. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is sit with the discomfort, acknowledge the pain, and choose empathy anyway. Devon Werkheiser didn't come out with a PR-polished statement. He came out with honesty. He didn't try to save face. He tried to shift perspective. And whether you're a fan of the show or not, that matters. Because this story isn't about nostalgia. It's about humanity. So here's the real question. How do we react when someone's worst moment goes viral? Do we scroll? Do we judge? Do we laugh? Or do we remember that there's a person behind the clip? Let me know what you think. Do you believe the internet has become too desensitized to stories like this? Do former child stars get enough support once the spotlight fades? And what responsibility, if any, do fans have when these moments surface? If this story made you feel something, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video so more people see it. Share it with someone who needs to hear this perspective. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I read them all. And make sure you subscribe to Twinkle Hype for more real conversations behind the headlines. Because these stories don't end when the camera cuts. And neither do we.